I drive for work, long-distance courier, night shifts mostly. I like the quiet, the hum of the engine, the open road, the dark. All of it calms me. But something happened last October that still keeps me from driving after midnight. I was headed through rural Wyoming, trying to make up time after a detour. Nothing but cracked asphalt, frozen fields, and fog thick enough to chew. The GPS lost signal hours ago. I passed a green road sign, mile marker 313. That's when I saw it. A car up ahead, pulled slightly off the shoulder, hazards on. A woman was standing behind it, waving one arm slowly in the air. Not frantic, not panicked, just waving. I slowed down. Her car looked old, maybe 90s. She didn't move toward me, didn't call out. She just stared. I rolled the window down a crack. "You okay?" She nodded once, then pointed at the woods across the road. "He's over there," she said softly. I waited for her to explain. "He ran into the trees, said he saw something." I asked if she wanted a ride or to use my phone. She shook her head. "Just wait with me, please." I should have left. I should have driven on. But something in her voice was broken, like she hadn't been heard in a long, long time. So I pulled over, put my hazards on, got out. She didn't look at me, just kept staring at the trees. After a few minutes, I asked who she was waiting for. She whispered, "My husband." "Is he hurt?" "He never came back out." I looked at the woods, silent, still, no wind, no sounds, like everything in there had stopped breathing. I turned back to her, but she was gone. No footsteps, no sound, just gone. I called out, nothing. Walked around her car, checked the seats, empty. Then I looked at the license plate, rusty, faded. The tags had expired in 2003. I ran back to my car. The engine started, but the radio came on by itself, full volume, white noise. Then a voice through the static. "Mile marker 313, mile marker 313, mile marker." I killed the ignition. Silence. My phone was dead. No signal. I drove, fast, watching the mirror the entire time. 30 minutes later, I saw a sign, mile marker 313. Again, I should have passed it once, not twice, but there it was. Same old car on the shoulder, same blinking lights, and the woman, back where she was, waving. I didn't stop this time. I didn't even look at her. I kept going, kept driving, passed the same sign 2 more times, mile marker 313. Every time she was there, waiting. Eventually, I saw headlights behind me, a truck. I flagged them down, nearly in tears. It was a sheriff's deputy. He looked at me like I was crazy, but let me follow him back into town. At the diner, I told him everything. He got real quiet, said nothing for a while. Then finally, he said, "You're the 4th one this year. Same stretch of road, same woman, same car. And," he looked out the window, "that road doesn't have a mile marker 313. I've changed jobs since then. I don't drive at night anymore, but every now and then, I'll wake up at 1:13 a.m., and I swear, from my window, in the tree line across the street, I see her, just barely lit by the street lamp, waving." Everyone around here knows the story. The woman in white, the ghost hitchhiker, the one who waits by the curve near the old bridge. She's been seen for decades. They say she died in a crash on her wedding night, ran off the road in a storm, still in her dress. Some versions say her groom pushed her. Others say she jumped. Doesn't matter. What matters is that she's still there. I never believed it. Not really. Even though I grew up 5 minutes from that spot. Until last year. It was late. Maybe 1:30 a.m. I was coming back from a long shift and took the back road to avoid construction. The sky was clear. The road was dead quiet. Just me and the curve. As I came around it, my headlights hit the guardrail. And she was there, white dress, long black hair, back turned to the road, not waving, not crying, just standing, still. I slammed the brakes, heart pounding. When the car stopped, I looked again, but she was gone. The air felt heavier, like the night had sucked all the sound out of the world. I sat there for a moment, catching my breath, then drove on. Didn't tell anyone, just shook it off, but it didn't end there. The next night, I found muddy footprints on my bedroom floor, small, bare, trailing from the window to the foot of my bed. I live on the second floor, no fire escape, no ledge. I checked the lock, still bolted, but the window was cracked open, just enough. That week, I kept seeing her. Not just by the road, in my rearview mirror at stoplights, across the street when I left work, standing in the corner of my bedroom when I blinked too long. Always still, always watching, never coming closer, just waiting for me to acknowledge her. But this time, she stood there, closer than before, eyes hollow, dress soaked, veil torn, but her mouth was stretched open, not screaming, smiling, and she said, "You saw me. That means you remember." That was 9 months ago. I moved, changed jobs, blocked every window, but every night at exactly 1:30 a.m., I hear her walk down the hallway, bare feet, soft breathing, and she whispers the same thing right outside my door. "You remember, so I get to stay." On March 11th, 2011, the ocean came for us. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the northeastern coast of Japan. The ground shook for 6 long minutes, and then the tsunami hit. Entire towns were swallowed, neighborhoods reduced to skeletons. Nearly 20,000 people died. I lived in Sendai, the capital of Miyagi Prefecture, Japan. There were survivors, but none of us felt alive. I was a taxi driver back then, and after the wave, I just kept driving. It felt better than staying home, surrounded by silence and damp photographs. The roads had changed. Some no longer existed. Others were buried in salt and debris. There weren't many fares at first, just survivors, volunteers. Sometimes a family member going back to find what was left. Then came the others. The first time, it was a young woman, mid-20s maybe. She flagged me down near the temporary shelter. Her clothes were soaked. Her hair clung to her face like seaweed. I thought maybe she'd come from a relief center near the coast. She opened the door, sat in the back, and quietly said an address in Ishinomaki. I hesitated. That part of town was completely destroyed, wiped clean, nothing left standing. But I nodded, started the car. Halfway there, I glanced in the rearview mirror. She was gone. No sound, no door opening. The seat was soaked through, but I nodded and started driving. I drove to the address anyway, parked outside the rubble, opened the back door, waited, then drove away. It happened again and again. Old men, school children, mothers holding nothing in their arms like they were still cradling a baby, always quiet, always polite, always gone before we arrived. Some drivers refused to pick them up, said it was bad for business. One of the other drivers called them the tsunami dead, not in a cruel way, just acknowledging what we all knew but wouldn't say out loud. These were people who never made it home, people who didn't know they were gone. They're still trying to get home. There's one that stays with me the most. A boy, maybe 7 or 8. He got in one evening while I was parked near the outskirts of town. Didn't say a word, just pointed forward. I asked him for an address. He didn't respond, so I drove. Eventually, he started humming, a soft tune, familiar. I realized it was a children's song, one I hadn't heard since I was little. When I looked in the mirror, he was crying, but the tears weren't falling. They just shimmered at the bottom of his eyes, frozen there. I blinked, and he was gone. When I looked down at the seat, he'd left a small red shoe. I keep it in the glove compartment, just in case he ever comes back. Some people think we're making it up. Ghost stories, they say. Trauma, grief hallucinations. Maybe they're right. But if you were there, if you felt what we felt, you know better. Some of them are still trying to find their way back, and someone has to give them a ride.